a semicircular shape that appears in the background here and there. Well, let's cut the data for Brent Spiner. He was doing so much of the heavy lifting in season 7, and in fact, had just come off doing Dino himself, when now to playing multiple roles in the same piece. Spiner's certainly a versatile actor and good with voices, but sadly, he's just kind of dropped into this and told to act, rather than have the time to really find the people that he's supposed to be playing. The reason data caught on at part was because of his skill in presenting a balance between all the forces compelling someone who wishes to be human, but is bound by non-human limitations and is bound to thus mimic what he observes. Despite playing an android, Spiner brings all these layers to character. In contrast, all these new characters are all surface. He doesn't do a bad job with them. The demands make it impossible for him to do it as well as we know that he could under better circumstances.
What does it feel like when a person is losing his mind?
In my experience, the first impulse is to start forwarding irrelevant shit in my email. Jordy disconnected the plug, with the doorbell and Wi-Fi, and the data was sporting a new look. Trust me, that circle's there to give you something to aim at. This is EHOT. Hard trying to get your info, but let me get to my mark. EHOT is pretty important. But I'm quite sure I can just stop that. Yes. Jordy follows standard business practice. When you have no idea what to do, make a big using chart. Point down to show you're on top of it. Jordy says data has the equivalent of multiple personality disorder, which is the crock of shit. What is now called dissociative identity disorder has to do with the person's developing personality. But data's not creating these personalities from his own psyche. Jordy just said the archive is implanting these within it. The closest diagnosis for making data's condition is demonic possession. Not exactly recognized as DSM-4, I know, but then again, if you really want to bring some like that into this episode, I'm going to talk to you about the summon of EHOT. It's drop. It's about stop at Masaka, awakening, and stop the sun in the sky, and only Gorgano can stop her. Then he spasms, and a terrified leader takes over and grabs the card's hand, but he takes it like a man. The Enterprise is caught in the archive's tracking beat now, and it begins transforming into the ship. With this threat, Picard feels there's no choice left but to destroy the archive, but the weapons are offline. Worf and Geordi configured the torpedo for a manual launch, only to discover, there's only one man who can pull this off, and he ain't here, so it's time to amp spray. The conference room is now a swamp, so they meet on the bridge. To make sure the episode runs long enough, they take a couple minutes to restate what we already figured out. The only result is Picard's command that he won't let the ship be turned into an alien city, and he demands to know what the hell Geordi's going to do about this. Geordi said he's going to try to access the archive and shut this all down, but then Picard suddenly remembers he's the captain and he studied archaeology. Maybe he should try to piece the puzzle together. So that's what leaves here to see who's knocking the day. It's an old guy complaining about how hard it is to stay warm. Can't imagine with that roaring fire going there. He's Masaka's dad and drops the clue again about Gorgano. EHOT takes over and he and Picard shoot the breeze for a while, until he finally tells Picard to build her temple.
Are you one of my children? Good
I can't watch anymore. Picard takes his hand, and we see here QB is going to take it to the running bag and then try to run it in himself. They find a little block with that picture in the computer and figure that will create the Masaka's temple and summon her so they can probably sort this shit out. They somehow know exactly where the temple will be created, so they go there and input the signal. And luckily for them, the transformation of matter doesn't include the three of them, or else they'd probably wind up turning into trees or something. By now you might be wondering why I'm not tearing apart this episode that it so richly deserves. The reason is, what the hell is there to say? There's a new prompt showing up and everyone just standing there talking about it until Data says something cryptic, over and over and over. The problem with math is the presentation, which is bland. But there are ideas here that could have turned into something clever, but instead it's just dull. It's like one of those snooty films that's just two men in a restaurant arguing in French for 6 hours, while every 12 minutes a bicycle no rider rolls past the window. With the addition of the Star Trek cast talking about it all the while. I mean, I feel bad doing the review because I'm adding a whole another layer of talking about nonsense. They find the horn symbol again, this time by the sun. And car thinks this indicates the chase from Masaka by Fergana. They then find the reverse. They start chasing the horn. So they start to think maybe there's a relationship between these two, like the sun and the moon. The descendants can have another meaning. Is the only reason I'm not ranting of Troy here. So the concept suggests she seems to think the moon can't rise in the morning. But she can. And it must. And, you know, it has to keep orbiting the Earth to avoid smashing into it. Unless you think there's some solar system out there where the tiny sun orbits the planet, or the other way around. And maybe Data's got this into this world or something. Meanwhile, Data's awakened and put on a mask, with a snot out of guards, and arrives at the temple while Picard is thinking about Troy's theory that astronauts never landed on the moon because the moon is just an optical illusion. No, she doesn't say that, but only because she's learned to keep her dumb ideas to herself. Picard tries talking to Masaka, but she won't listen. So Picard tells Geordi to find the Fergana symbol, and despite the crew's protests, activate it. Well, when in Rome, or whatever, Picard figures he should attempt to act like Fergana and stop Masaka. Everyone also agrees this is a bad idea, but it's the only option. Hey, I guess it wouldn't really hurt to try. You know, look yourself in the mirror and know you did your best. You may have lost the ship, but at least you still have your dig. Yeah. Well, Picard, this point doesn't work. Perhaps you can use your superpowers today. Picard talks with her, and it's like a minute and a half, and suddenly all this shit is sorted out. It took longer for the old guy to stop griping about how cold it was. Data returns to normal and shows up a map that he made originally. He's talking about what it was like to be thousands of individuals. No explanation of why this archive is full of this crazy stuff is even speculated on. We're just supposed to be glad it's all over. Putting it that way, I suppose that's true. I am glad this crap is all behind us. Post episode follow-up. The main character goes to whiny personality, whoever the hell that was. How good Masaka taking him out first. We have an IM Teaching Award for Data, invested with an entire civilization. Final score for Masters is 2 out of 10. It's not good, that much is obvious. That's mostly because it's just a lot of sitting around and talking. Honestly, I'm not as surprised that this was a season 1 episode. It was just solely in keeping of the bland and silly nature of some of those early plots.
Here's what's going on. I was under the impression that my video editing troubles were due to one big problem. It actually turned out that it was due to about 5 or 6 little problems that I've been fixing throughout the last few weeks. I just wanted you all to know that I have finally tracked them all down and should have everything working again by next week. I'm going to have to re-record, re-edit, and re-everything with regard to No Country for Old Men Part 2, but I'm hoping to have that done by sometime next week as well. I just wanted to thank you all for your patience, and I hope to get this fixed as soon as possible, because if PlayStation Network ends up fixing their shit before I do, I'm going to be